49ers have to run the ball 40 times or damn near it to win? Because that really was their formula during the winning streak.
No, because this team is vulnerable to the pass. They are. And I think that that's where they'll attack. George Kittle needs to be involved, though, and you can't continue to just have him as an extra lineman. But here's what I will say. They need to run it 30, 35 times, not 40, 30, 35 times, right?
Okay.
Because you don't want to – the Tom Compton game happened.
Exactly. Yes.
And you can only scheme around
that. That's the thing about
the
pass game. It's not just Jimmy.
Right.
It's Tom.
No. And you can only scheme around that for a little while. Now, I just told you that Trey Hendrickson, who is playing out of his mind, will be up with Trent Williams. But Carlos Dunlap isn't exactly a world beater. He played 4 snaps against the Washington football team. 4. They were every week he had gone down in snaps. Would you have thought that in the Seattle game? He looked like a world beater. So whoever's going to be on the other side of him is going to have their shots if you continue to drop back, right? And that's another reason I think that Jimmy's a little skittish to look other ways, because he knows as much as you bag and a lot of people bag on Mike McGlinchey, he's not that bad. Come on.
Tom Compton's a decent run blocker, but whoa, man, he's I used to put what's the point of putting together a Tom Compton low light reel? Like everyone knows. But
no.
Damn.
That's like dunking on a third grader. Like, come on, man, at this point. Like, it's just, that's the thing. And then you have to give Kyle Shanahan credit, because he schemed around that for weeks. And I had people telling me, oh, well, look, they don't need McGlinchey. No, coaches scheming around that and not putting him in positions where he's on an island. Carlos Dunlap was an afterthought. Like, I swear he played 4 snaps against Washington. 4. And then guess what?
You said 35. You think 35 is the magic number here, not 40.
35.
All right, well, let's talk about that then, because I even think 35 is going to be tough to attain. If Elijah Mitchell, I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. If he does, can they need to lighten up on the Elijah. He's gotten 5 injuries so far. Like, stop.
But
enough.
Again, I had my little unpopular take, and I got called a clickbaiter, and I got called Grant Cohn, because I said that the best rookie running back is Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams on Sunday night got 30 touches and dominated, right? For the first time. Elijah Mitchell has been the bell cow out of necessity, because there has been no second option. And if you need more proof,
and he's getting worn down.
Who was the backup? It wasn't Jeff Wilson. Deebo Samuel had the second amount of so look, give credit to the kid, because he's doing well under the circumstances and he's handled it well, but he's been injured 3 times.
But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying though. For this week, I'm with you. For this week, if it ain't him, it's not Trey Sermon. Jeff Wilson Jr. is not 100%. I mean, it's going to be JaMychal Hasty, a less than 100% Jeff Wilson Jr. and
Brian Hill.
Brian Hill. So I think 30 carries could be tough, because right now they're averaging about 3 yards a carry without Deebo in the last 5 games. And that's why I keep coming back to this 2 quarterback system. If you could get Lance in the game, it might open up run lanes for these, backup running backs. I'm not certain they can get to 35 even, or 30. And because here's why. Cincinnati has a good run defense. Deebo Samuel ain't playing, and the run game seems pretty stagnant right now and beat up without Trey Lance. So unless they get Trey Lance in there, I don't know about that 30 run number. And that makes me worry about the Niners' ability to win this game.
Let's get nuts. Let's just put Jimmy and Trey in the backfield. Let's get nuts. Hand it off to Trey and then just have him run, and then he could throw it just in case. Like, no, I'm just kidding. I fear for the same thing as well. And that's the same thing that I was saying. Elijah Mitchell has been having an amazing season. But this whole philosophy shift from 4 backs, which Kyle Shanahan has done every single year that he's been here, to straight up bell cow, is not a change of philosophy. It's necessity. He has to. He has to, because unfortunately, Jeff Wilson hasn't bounced back. You lose Trey Sermon now. Raheem Mostert gets hurt. They had a plan to use all of those guys sparingly to keep them all. And think about it. How many teams actually have a bell cow? Even the Dallas Cowboys, where they paid all that money to Ezekiel Elliott, they used Tony Pollard. And Jonathan Taylor's the only other guy that really gets all of it. Derrick Henry got injured. That's not the way the league works anymore. Right. Everybody uses more than one back. So for Elijah Mitchell to do what he was doing is in the face of all odds. So you definitely have to give him credit. But look what happened. Broken finger. He missed a few games. And someone tried to tell me, well, that's not because he's been a workhorse. What, he get injured by air? He got injured by a hit. That's why it happened. Like, you understand? Like, you can't do that with Elijah Mitchell. That's not what he was here for. Trey Sermon was supposed to have a much bigger role. Raheem Mostert wasn't planning to get injured. I mean, that's why they let Wayne Gallman go. They thought they were fine. They thought they were fine.
Right. So, Kyle, if you're listening, Jason says you don't have to get to 40, but 35 would be preferable, and 30 is a must. So, figure it out, man. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it with just running backs. You might have to get creative. Fortunately, you're a creative guy.
Well,
you got it in you, Kyle. I think you can do it, but you got to be creative for this week.
Kyle, don't yell at me. It's just a suggestion, dude. You're still the man. You do what you want to do, man.
You can yell at me. Big Tone 707 says nothing is really fair in the quarterback land of the Niners universe unless your name is Joe or winning Super Bowls. Never seen a higher bar for quarterbacks. It's true, man. It's a tough place to get drafted into.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really argue with that. See, here's the thing.
It's like being shortstop for the Yankees, man. Oh, I've already said that. It's tough. I mean, anything for the Yankees, really.
Well, here's the thing. Yeah. Here's the thing, right? I remember the Joe and Steve thing, but again, being on the East Coast, I had to learn about all that stuff through my father. And for a while, my dad was like, man, I don't want to see the Steve Young guy. We want Joe or whatever. And then Steve starts killing it, and he's like, yeah, it's great. So my only real exposure to this, because I joined Twitter in 2019. I had never been on Twitter before that, anything like that. Never 49ers Twitter, anything like that. So I had never understood the whole Kaepernick Smith situation. Like, I wanted Cap because I saw him and I saw the dynamic that he brought. But it does seem like all these arguments around quarterbacks, they either happen on talk radio or in barbershops, and they are as heated as they are now on Twitter. It's just now more people are involved in the discussion on Twitter because you can just type from your phone.
Michael Hamilton says Kyle's ego has doomed us for the past 3 years. His reluctance to even play Trey has cost us one game. His misuse of Trey cost us the Arizona game. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. When you go back and look, they say like the Niners could easily have this record or that record. Like, there is a lot of truth to it because you go back and look at how they lost. It's like, well, this decision, the way you hurt yourself here, like they really do a lot of like self-inflicted stuff.
One thing I'll say, Grant, Trey was like this close to scoring a touchdown, got stopped at the 1. They didn't kick field goals. I don't know. There's a lot of, so that's the thing, man. It's tough. It's tough. I could hear that about the misuse and all that stuff. I hear it, but there's other things that could have been done. And, I mean, it's just, I'm starting to get to a place where I'm trying to figure out everything, right? Like, why did you make this decision? Why did you make this decision? What happened here? What happened in the entire game? And if Trey scores that touchdown, they kick 1 field goal, they probably win that game. Right. So I don't know, man. It's tough. It's hard to just put your finger on one reason, and this is the thing. The revisionist history going back. If you did this, you did that, you did this. Who knows, man? Who knows how things work? So I guess this team is where they are because they're supposed to be here.